That describes, I don't know, probably everybody that I know. But I think the first step has got to be just recognition that whatever happened actually bothers you. Because like you mentioned, just hard charging, go through anything, keep going type mentality. Even when even in my own experience, I think back to an event and I'm like, it was kind of hard, but we get through it. We got through it just fine. And it's almost like you're ignoring the fact that these things are building and building, and the next event happens and it builds, and understanding like, that was pretty horrible. It's okay to recognize that that was bad, and you either still have to deal with it, or you at least have to recognize that this was a problem, and luckily we got through it, but we still have some other things that we gotta sort through.
Yeah, and you did get through it, but if your body is talking to you, the message is, not that you can't handle your own stress. It's that you have reached and gone beyond the level that is what anybody could possibly be asked to handle. I mean, that your body is trying to communicate that the stress level or trauma level has gone beyond reasonable limits, and that anybody else in a similar situation being asked to cope with the same level of stress would probably have broken down a long time ago.
Yeah. So getting into like a treatment type plan. So, we've recognized that, and I would imagine a majority of people probably have a mix of both structural problems and some kind of psychological component to this. It would be very tempting to just like throw narcotics at this person. Like, you earned it. Here you go. Here's 90 days of oxycodone. Have a good time. Or any other form of pharmaceuticals. And it's kind of like, hey, if you don't get better in 3 months, come back and I'll write you another one. With the suicide rates, the number of people that, just suffer from chronic pains, it doesn't seem like that's really fixing the problem. So how do we go about, either treating this patient or at least advising them about their treatment and options when we're dealing with the psychological component?
Yeah, well, it certainly starts with just the recognition that the psychological piece, the neuroplastic symptom piece is real, that these symptoms are not imaginary, that they are every bit as real as symptoms caused by anything else, and that they deserve to be treated with respect. And unfortunately, the pain medications are only treating the symptoms and not the underlying cause. And treating the underlying cause means first, diagnosing what's going on. Is it, for example, related to post-traumatic stress? Is the person still having nightmares or flashbacks or avoiding certain people or situations because they bring back the trauma? Living on high alert, emotional numbness, sudden outbursts of anger or other emotions. If those things are going on and you meet the criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder, it needs to be addressed. There are, if you're able to access it, there's, solid treatment modalities available for that.